Hello there, everybody. It is Robin Ware, and I'm back. I am so excited. I did it. I'm so sorry that I got a late start, but that's because one of my clients got a call to do some press. So I had to make sure that I got that all set up and scheduled for them. So I am back. There's my little notification that I am live and people should be jumping on. So super excited about that. So got Instagram going, and of course, I am back over on um, Facebook. So I love it, right? Excited is one of my favorite words, but I am here. So thank you for your patience. Again, duty called, so I had to make sure my client was taken care of. So today, when I logged into my system, they had done an update, and you know what happens when they do an update. You typically lose some things, and I lost everything in my system. So I don't have my commercial, I don't have my subscribe to YouTube, I don't have any of that. So I'm gonna have to go and download that all over again and put it back in my system. So we won't have my little station identification on today, but we will jump right into the teaching. So thank you. I see you on, Kim. Glad to see you there, as well as the others that are jumping on. And of course, let me log into on my other iPad. Let me log into Facebook so that I can see who's hanging out with me on this afternoon. And of course, once this is off of, once I'm done, I'll put it over on YouTube. So for those of you, thank you so much that went over to YouTube and watched some of my content. I just put out a brand new series over on YouTube this morning. Y'all hear me? Instagram. I put a brand new series out over on YouTube. So make your way over to YouTube so that you can check it out. It's really good teaching. And I want to be a blessing. So hold on one second. Let me get my sound down. Okay. I wanted to be a blessing, of course. So let's see here. Come on. I tell you what is going on with the girl. Okay, there we go. So let's get started. Today I want to talk about 10 areas in your ministry that you need to evaluate. 10 areas in your ministry that you need to evaluate. So all my folks over on Instagram, 10 areas in your ministry that you need to evaluate. So as we prepare for 2021, we already know 2020 has been a doozy. However, we took lemons and made lemonade out of 2020. I know a lot of ministries, they have seen more engagement with their respective ministry than they have in years. So listen, as my Pastor D always says, all storms aren't bad. So 2020 was a storm, absolutely. However, what did you do with 2020? Well, a lot of ministries, they stepped up their digital game. That was really the only thing that you could do. So they decided to show up. They did not go bury their heads in the sand. Now I know a lot of churches, they took their digital worship to Zoom. They didn't take it to Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, and that's fine. As long as your ministry didn't bury its head in the sand, they took it and they upped their game. So let's give some hearts, some shouts, some claps, all of that for those ministries that did that. So for 2021, I want to challenge ministries to do some evaluations, because now that we've got a new normal. This is our new way of doing ministry. Even though, we're believing God that the pandemic is going to be over very, very soon. We've got some vaccines now. We still have to accept the fact that we'll never have church the way we used to. I just don't believe that people are going to be running to come back into the sanctuaries. There will be the faithful few, there will be the remnant, but there are going to be a lot of people that are like, I like this church at home thing. I like sitting in my chair. I like swiveling when I want to. I like being able to drink water. And I most of all like worshiping in whatever I want to wear, right? Whether it be pajamas or just active wear. So 2021, we have to make sure that our ministry teams, our ministry systems, that they are prepared for our new normal. So here we go. I've got 10 systems that need to be evaluated in the church. Let's begin with our worship service. Easy. Your worship service. Does it make sense the way you're hosting your worship service? Now, one of the things that I want to do is, I told you that my system messed up. So let me see if I can figure out how to do this really quick while I've got you guys on here. Let's see. Maybe I can. So the first one is going to be our worship services. All right. Is the way you produce your worship service, does it make sense for your digital space? It's as simple as that. Does it make sense for your digital space? So there we go. Number one, your worship services. If your service typically is 2 hours, does that make sense? Are people staying engaged? Are people joining? Are you finding that you're having to do announcements at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of service so that you can make sure you connect with everybody that watches? You need to evaluate the way that you conduct your worship service so that you'll know if it makes sense, the way that you are hosting your services. All right. And then number two, let me get this going for you. Number two is going to be your stewardship. How are you handling being a blessing to those in your community? Stewardship. Typically we would require people to, come and meet with the person that handled benevolence. We would require that they fill out a form. So does that make sense in this space? Do you need to have a landing page? And I know a lot of churches say, oh, we don't want to advertise, how to get benevolence because the floodgates open. But listen, we're a ministry. That is what we're supposed to be there, is for the people. So benevolence or assistance, you can take people through a process. Again, that's why we're evaluating how we handle stewardship. Maybe have a new system where they have to do some online forms. They have to speak with someone. They have to do, I don't want to say jump through a couple hurdles, but you want a process that makes sense in the digital space before you decide how you are going to be able to help them, to bless them, or to give them guidance. Not all stewardship requires financial assistance. Sometimes it's go learn about this program. I can proudly say that once I had an understanding of the PPP program and the EIDL program, I started beating the drum for other entrepreneurs, helping them to understand what the process was and how it worked. And now I'm beating the drum, helping them to complete their, what am I trying to say? To complete their request for it to be forgiven. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So I am doing stewardship just in a different way. So one of the things I did is I put up a new video all about those respective, I put it up about PPP and how I got it. I made it really simple, straight to the point, and I put it up on YouTube. It's the same thing. You need to reevaluate your systems and make sure that they make sense as it relates to stewardship. All right. And then number three, let's see here. It is evangelism. That's right. How do you handle evangelism? Let me make sure I spell it right. Evangelism. There we go. All right. So number three is evangelism. Evaluate your processes as it relates to evangelism. Gone are the days when you can go and knock on people's doors. So do you have a digital way to connect? I already taught that there are 2 billion people on Facebook. A third of the world has a presence on Facebook. So maybe your evangelism strategy needs to be revamped so that it is more effective online. What systems do you have in place for evangelism? How are you tracking it? Remember, what gets measured is what gets done. And so if you're just telling your evangelism team, I need you to come up with a new way, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen. But if you tell them, I need you to come up with a way that we're able to share the gospel and reach 500 people in the next 30 days, give me a written plan, that will get done, right? Because you're holding them accountable. You're giving them a way to measure their success. All right. So number 3 was evangelism. And I'm sorry, you guys, I'm having to type these points, but everything crashed when I logged into my system. So I had to start over. All right. Number 4 is the system that you need to track is new members. The way you process and receive new members. Look at that process. Again, it was designed for in-house. Not many ministries had an online system capability for you to onboard new members. We're revamping some things even at my own church. I get it. We started in March. We jumped on board, didn't really have much notice. So we just did what we could do. And so some ministries, they've stopped and kind of, reevaluated, maybe 3 or 4 months in. But a lot of ministries haven't. They kind of said, well, once the pandemic's over, we'll onboard those people that connected with our ministry while we were going through the pandemic. I even know some churches that didn't even offer membership. They just said, hey, you're watching us online. We appreciate you. I think they took the mindset that the people weren't local. Doesn't matter. People can partner with your ministry from all over the world. That's why ministry's global. All right. So number 4, of course, is your new members process and how you onboard people. Make sure that as you're evaluating that process that you still want to, keep the way that you do it inside the 4 walls of church, but just as robust as that system is, that process is that you do inside the 4 walls of church, you want to make sure that it is just as robust for your online audience. Hey there, I see you guys on Instagram. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. All right, number 5 is, let me take this off. All right, number 5 is small groups. A lot of ministries were just getting on board with having small groups. So small groups kind of took the place of Sunday school and even midweek Bible study. A lot of churches stopped their midweek Bible studies and they created small groups. And so if you had started your small groups, of course, typically the way they started, you did one for women, one for men, one for, singles or, just different topics that spoke to your audience, that made sense for the demographics. That's what I was trying to say, that met the demographics that attends your church. So whatever those were, think about that whole process. Maybe now you'll have a small group that will be for, seniors, teaching them how to use Facebook. I don't know. Your small groups can last 6 weeks, 8 weeks. They don't have to last, an entire year. You do them in seasons. So your small groups process, how do people sign up? How do they find out? Do you have a landing page dedicated to all of your small groups on your website? Do you have an email list that you put them in an email marketing funnel so that you can market directly to them a sign-up link so that you don't make it difficult for people to be a part of your small groups, all right? And then number 6 is, now this one is going to seem a little weird, but it is still necessary. Number 6 is volunteers. That's right. How are you attracting your volunteers? What is that process? Come on, guys. There we go. Volunteers. Sorry, I'm typing as I teach. So number 6, volunteers. What's that process to recruit volunteers? Is it through text messaging? Again, when we were inside the 4 walls of church, you were able to make church announcements and recruit volunteers. You were able to have ministry fairs. Well, of course, now, how can you host a ministry fair in a digital space? Let me tell you, it's actually easy. That's right. So don't overthink that process. You can still recruit your volunteers. You can still have them sign up. You can still track volunteer hours. I'm so excited at my church that we're incorporating our volunteers more into our services. So don't just think because you're not meeting in person that you don't need your volunteers. You still need greeters. You still need people that can pray for people. You still need people that can answer emails and text messages and even phone calls as a part of your worship experience. You still need people that can be on site during specific hours so people can bring their tithes and offerings by. There's all kind of things that you need volunteers to do. Maybe it's to go to particular schools in your community to represent the ministry. Maybe they're there to make sure and greet kids as they get off the school buses. Whatever your programming was with that school, figure out how to still use your volunteers in this season. All right. So we are almost done, you guys. I've got 10. So number 7 is your actual leadership. That's right. Number 7, you need to evaluate your leadership. Have they made this adjustment to being digital? Are they being creative with how they're connecting with those that they're called to lead? Not just the worship service had to go digital, but also ministry teams had to go digital. Are they still doing trainings? I'm still getting, bookings to go out and do, not go out, but to do them digitally, hospitality trainings, my customer service workshops. Yes. So you still should be having ministry meetings, ministry trainings. Maybe your ministry teams can read a book together. You're holding them accountable to continue their growth. So your leadership, make sure that they're still stepping up to the table and they are being viable. All right. Of course, one of my favorites is next. Number 8, you guys, is, let me put it on the screen if you guys are watching me over on Facebook. You, of course, are seeing my point. So number 8 is marketing. That's right. You want to make sure that your marketing team, evaluate them. I would think by now that you would have a new opening. I would think by now that you should have sermon trailers. I would think by now that you would have a digital welcome package that you're able to share with those that watch online. I would think by now that you'd have some sort of pre-show for your worship service. I would think by now that the way that people can give to your ministry has been marketed in a different way. So your marketing team, you want to make sure that they are evaluating their processes to make sure that they've adjusted and that they are ready to take what they do to the next level in 2021. All right. And then number 9, here we go. This is another area, of course, that is key to me. And that is, here we go. I'm getting pretty good at this, you guys. Number 9 is events. That's right. Events are key. Events, of course, are key. Evangelism tool. Events are a great way for the ministry to connect and engage with one another. And then, of course, events, a great way for evangelism as well. So you want to make sure that your events team, that they are evaluating their processes, their systems that they use, the way that people register for your worship services, the way that people register for your giving events, or not giving events, but for events where they're being a blessing to the community. All of those fall up under your events team. So you want to make sure that they are evaluating their processes. And then, of course, I'll go ahead and throw this in there. I did get a chance to put that in there, is my Event Planners Bootcamp. That is a workshop that I am hosting. All you have to do is go to thewareagency.com and you will see right there in the middle of the homepage the information about that 4-hour workshop. Of course, we'll be taking a break, But I'm going to be teaching about registration systems. I'm going to be teaching about platforms that you can use to host your events, to host worship services, to do fundraisers, all of that. I'm also going to be teaching about engaging with speakers and how to book them, and what are the protocols that they should be following, all of that. So I want to encourage you to register. Registration is only $25. I've extended the $25 early rate as a Christmas gift. So, of course, Christmas is Friday. So after Friday, the rate will go up to $40. So the date is January 2nd. I got the flyer right there on the screen. January 2nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So do not miss that. All right. And then let me just get to number 10 and we will be done. The last area that you need to ask them to evaluate their processes and their systems so that we can make sure that they are being a blessing and meeting the needs of your congregation is counseling. Listen, this has been a very difficult season for a lot of people. There have been a lot of deaths, of course, with COVID-19. People have not been able to work, and they've lost their jobs, and some businesses have closed. So people are going through a lot, and they need hope. And so you want to make sure that that process for them to receive counseling, that it makes sense, that it is easy, that it's trustworthy, that it can still be, sessions can still be held confidentially. So have your counseling team go through and review the processes that they use as a counseling ministry. All right. Woo! We did it, you guys. I am so proud of myself again. I was a little thrown off because my system decided to do an update and it erased all of my content. But your girl just jumped in there and I did it. One of my team members was saying, Robin, you really are just kind of showing people what happens. It does. Technology, when you are using technology, when it works, it is fantastic. But when it doesn't, baby, you have to be able to pivot, right? Don't let them see you sweat. So you do what you can do. So I started a little bit late. So I appreciate everybody that jumped on. Let me see if I can get back here. See if we've got any comments. All right, there we go. Thank you guys for jumping on. There we go. All right, let's see if you guys have any questions. Thank you guys for jumping on and hanging out with me on today. So for those of you who have not had the pleasure to meet, of course, let's get connected. All you have to do to get on my email list and find out my events and other great things that I've got coming up is by texting my last name, Ware, to the number 22828. Got it there on the screen for you. Somebody can put it on the screen on Instagram, but text my last name, Ware, to the number 22828. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And today I want to just tell you, I do have my book, The Ultimate Facebook Manual for Churches. It's available over on my website as well, thewareagency.com. So go check that out as well. It's a great resource for you. If you're saying, hey, Coach Robin, our ministry uses Facebook, but really all we really do with it is stream. This book is going to teach you how to use so much of the other systems within Facebook. With Facebook, they've got probably 8 or 9 different systems built in that you can use, from Facebook groups, Facebook events, Facebook ads. They've just got so much. So I want to make sure that you take advantage of that full, robust system that Facebook offers. So again, it's available over on my website, thewareagency.com. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on today. And of course, this training, as I said, will be over on YouTube. So make your way over there as well, at Robin and Ware on YouTube. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get all my hours in by the end of the year, so I need your help. If you've got an extra hour to spend while you're even working, just go over on YouTube and look up my page at Robin and Ware and just let one of the videos play. It helps your girl out. Thank you guys, and God bless.